Xiaomi are about to launch a set of new flagship phones with the Mi 10 and the Mi 10 Pro, with something really quite unique in the smartphone world and even in the camera world too, which is a 108 megapixel camera sensor. But according to Huawei, this type of camera sensor is the wrong direction to go in and won't win. A post online from an executive at Honor, one of Huawei's sub-brands, outlined his thoughts with regards to Xiaomi using this high megapixel camera sensor. And he said it was the wrong direction. Pixels don't matter, but it's pixel size that's important. So in the Mi 10 and Mi 10 Pro, we'll be getting a Samsung made 108 megapixel camera sensor called the Bright HMX. And even though the camera sensor itself is very large for a smartphone, measuring in at about 1/1.33 inches. It is still a relatively small sensor as it has to fit into a smartphone. In the coming months, we will see a lot of new and improved camera sensors hit the market with much bigger sensor sizes. But Huawei think instead of adding more pixels, you can just make the existing pixels bigger. So which way is better? Having more pixels means you can shoot sharper, crisper, more detailed images. The resolution goes up, and this means you can zoom into a picture or enlarge a picture while still keeping enough detail for it to look good. Normal images also just look more detailed, sharper, and crisper than images taken with less megapixels. However, the more pixels you have on an image sensor, the smaller those pixels have to be, meaning the less light each one can collect, which has a negative effect on the overall look of the image, the colors, the dynamic range, and just the way that the image looks. Xiaomi have a solution for this though, using Samsung's ISOCELL technology. They can turn 4 smaller pixels into 1 bigger pixel, and so take that 108 megapixels into 27 megapixels for normal images. But the pixel count is still much higher than most other smartphone cameras. And the pixel size on the Mi 10 and Mi 10 Pro with this camera will be 0.8 microns. Whereas Honor and Huawei say they will choose image sensors with pixel sizes above 1 micron in size, and that means their cameras will be taking images around about 12 to 16 megapixels depending on the sensor size. To give all these sizes some context, Google's Pixel phone, often touted as one of the best phones for taking images, uses a 12 megapixel sensor with pixel sizes at 1.4 microns. Huawei's brand new flagship image sensor that will be launching first on the P40 Pro could feature 52 megapixels and use the same 4:1 pixel binning ratio to shoot 13 megapixel images, which is right in the same range as we see most flagship phones using right now. Because the camera sensor will be much bigger and each individual pixel will far exceed 1 microns, it should capture more light and therefore more color information, more detail, and more dynamic range than we get on Xiaomi's 108 megapixel sensor. There are other factors to consider though, as right now we don't know how good the new Snapdragon 865 will be at creating good looking images and good looking HDR. So is using a 108 megapixel the wrong decision? I don't think it is. Cameras are tools and high megapixel image sensors do have uses, as well as low megapixel image sensors also have uses. Although the best of both worlds may be what Samsung is doing with the S20 Ultra, using that 108 megapixel sensor with 9:1 pixel binning, bringing it down to 12 megapixel images as standard on that phone. Only time will tell if more pixels or bigger pixels is the right way to go. I would suggest that the difference between them in smartphones is probably less than each brand would try and tell you. Subscribe for all the latest tech news and videos. That's it for now, but I'll see you in the next one.